All right, Gigi, my dear, do your magic.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Jermaine. Welcome, Ariana. Welcome, Elder Shakita. Welcome, everyone. Ms. Mel, we are so glad you're here. Ellie, welcome. Corrine, welcome. So glad you all are here. If you are here for the Ultimate Homebuyers Webinar, you are in the right place. I love early birds. You guys have the same mindset that I do. If I've got to go someplace, I want to be there. I want to be there early. So I am so glad you all have chosen to join us a little bit early. We're thrilled to have you. Just know we are going to start the webinar at 7:30. I am thrilled that you all have chosen to join on this fantastic evening because we have an absolute treat for you. Our team, or the team from Wilmore Capital, is here. They are going to walk you through getting clarity and education about buying a home in today's market. So, couple things. You do not have to worry about sharing your screen or your video tonight. You do not have to worry about sharing your audio. I would suggest you grab a notepad and a pen or a pencil, something to drink or something to eat. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the learning opportunity because you have got a great opportunity this evening. So welcome, come on in. I'm so glad you guys are saying hello in the chat. Tell us what part of the state you're from. We'd love to get to know you just a little bit better. What area do you live? Do you live in Dallas? Oh, excellent. We've got a bunch of folks from Dallas. Welcome. So glad you're here. Oh, Louisville. Glad you're here. Valerie, welcome. If anyone is having audio issues, let me know. Would you guys drop in the chat if you can hear me okay? Tamiska, welcome. Maisha, welcome. Candace, welcome. Glad you're here. Charlotte, welcome. So glad you have chosen to join us this evening. I'm thrilled that you're here. Cannot wait for you all to be able to learn everything that you can learn about buying a home in today's market. Fantastic opportunity. We are going to get started right at 7:30. Then there's a 30-minute presentation, plus or minus a couple of minutes. And then my favorite part, we have 30 minutes of Q&A. You are going to be able to drop your questions in throughout the entire webinar. I will pop back in after Cody and Greg have finished with the presentation, and I'm going to pose those questions to Cody and Greg in order. So that way, if you have a question that pops up throughout the webinar, through the presentation, just drop it in. We will get to every one of them that we can get into. Usually I can get through most of them. If we need an extra minute or two, I'll beg on your behalf. I'll get Cody and Greg to stick around for a couple more minutes. So welcome everyone. I saw a bunch of folks just popped in from the waiting room. So glad you're here. Love it when people are early. So excited that you were here for the Ultimate Homebuyers Webinar. Just like it says on the slide deck, you're going to get the facts about buying your home in today's market. There's a lot of clarity coming for you this evening. Nothing better than being able to get questions answered from people who do this for a living. Both Cody and Greg are veterans in the industry. Couldn't have better folks here to be able to give you some clarity than these two. It's going to be a great evening. Really looking forward to it. So come on in, get settled, grab a pen, grab a notepad. You might want to write something down and hop over to the chat box and let us know what part of the state you're from. We'd love to get to know you a little bit better. Let's see who just came in. Oh, Aisha, welcome from Dallas. Hi, Meek. What part of Texas are you from? Are you from the Dallas-Fort Worth area? Hi, Michelle. How are you? Welcome. iPhone is from Duncanville. Welcome. Oh, Meek's from Grapevine. Wonderful. So glad you're here. Are you all excited about getting some clarity when it comes to this crazy housing market that we've all been in? Maisha from Aubrey, welcome. So glad you're here. Hi, Sharonda, welcome. Glad you're here. Lisa from Cedar Hill, welcome. Welcome, everyone. So glad you're here. Welcome, September. Glad you're here. Mama C, welcome. Glad you're here. Ms. Corrine, welcome. Nadia, welcome. Tisha, welcome. So glad you're here. Tessa, welcome. Debbie and Lillian, so glad you all are here. Tessa, what part of Texas are you from, my dear? Oh, Tisha's from Princeton. Welcome, glad you're here. Welcome, Latasha, so glad you're here. Folks, we are going to get started in about 7 minutes. We're going to let other folks join. I'm so glad you all are here early. Welcome, Sandra, glad you're here. Sia from Plano, glad you're here. Oh, okay, originally from Midland. Well, Tessa, we're glad you're here. I hope each and every one of you get amazing volumes of information out of this evening's webinar. I can tell you, I have never been disappointed, anything but thrilled when Cody and Greg are here educating our attendees about buying a home in today's market. They give us insight. They give you, honestly, like a checklist, a to-do list of this is the first thing you need to do. This is the second thing you need to do. It's going to be fantastic. Welcome, Donna from Duncanville. So glad you're here. We're going to get started in about 6 minutes, folks. Oh my gosh, I love it. We have a Q that joined. Welcome, Q. So glad you're here. What part of Texas are you from? I don't know if Q can hear me. So I know we've had a bunch of people join in. Just know you do not have to worry about sharing your video, your camera tonight. You do not have to worry about speaking or going off mute. You were able to communicate. There's 2 of us here as moderators. We're here to assist you with the tech things. The the slide deck's going to start at 7:30. These 2 gentlemen are going to present for a half an hour and educate you, walk you through the process. Then I'll be back for Q&A. Then I am going to prompt them with your questions. So we're going to get to your questions at the end of the webinar. So you definitely want to stick around. I have had so many people say that they're glad they stuck around to the Q&A because questions were answered that they hadn't even thought of. So maybe you don't even need to ask a question. Maybe somebody else asks a question and then that prompts a thought for you. So it's going to be a great opportunity no matter what. Stick around. Michelle, so glad you're here from Plano. I hope I haven't missed anybody. We're going to have a full webinar, so I'm excited. I love it when there's a crowd. The questions are always really, really good. Hi, Mr. Babcock. Glad you're here. Welcome. What part of Texas are you from? Or what part of Texas do you live in? Maybe I should ask. Oh, in Dallas. Wonderful. So glad you're here. Twyla, welcome. Deandra, welcome. Brittany, welcome. See a few people that I missed. If I missed you, it's not on purpose. So glad you're here. Welcome, Natasha. So glad you're here. What part of Texas are you from? Or what part of Texas do you live in? We are going to get started in about 4 minutes, folks. You've got enough time to grab a snack, grab a notepad, a pen, and we will get started in just a bit. Oh, Natasha from Arlington, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Hi, iPhone, welcome. Hi, Latasha, welcome. Glad you're here. We're going to get started in just a bit. Oh, from Dallas. Wonderful. Well, we're thrilled you're here, Latasha. So welcome to each and every one of you. Oh, Twyla from Denton. Welcome. So glad you're here. I'm so excited for you all to get the information that's coming to you tonight. You know, the real estate industry has been really, I mean, the information's been kind of all over the place the last couple of years. So I'm so glad you guys have invested time into your own future by being here, especially with the Wilmore Capital team. These two gentlemen have got so much information to be able to share with you. So it's going to be a great evening. Thrilled that you're both, that each and every one of you are here. Hi, folks. I see a few folks just popped in from the waiting room. Welcome. I am so glad you're here. Once you get in and get settled, you've grabbed something to drink or maybe a snack and a notepad and a pen, hop on over to the chat box and let us know where you live in Texas. We'd love to get to know you a little bit better, what city you're from or what county you're from. Oh, welcome, Tanisha from Arlington. I'm so glad you're here. Just know any communicating you need to do if you're having a technical issue, there's a couple of us that are here as moderators that we will jump in and help you. We'll just send you a direct message and assist you throughout the webinar any way we can. Obviously, all the questions about buying a home, those will be directed to Cody and Greg at the end. All right, folks, we are going to get started in about a minute. So I just want to take a quick moment and I want to tell you all how excited I am that you're here. If you need, like I said, any tech assistance with audio and such during the webinar, just drop a message into the chat box. That chat box is your way to be able to communicate through with the tech team throughout the webinar. We are here to support you. So if you're here for the Ultimate Homebuyers webinar, you are absolutely in the right place. We've got an amazing opportunity. You have made a perfect decision on the perfect night to join this webinar because we are blessed to be joined by Wilmore Capital, the team. We have Cody Smart and Greg Gottsacker that are here to educate you, to give you the facts about buying your home in today's market. They are going to present for 30 minutes. Then at the end of that 30 minutes, I will pop back in and I'm going to moderate questions that come in during the webinar. You can drop your questions into the chat box at any point in time while they're presenting. We will get to those at the end. So again, if there's anything that we can do to support you, drop it in the chat box. We're here for that. But without further ado, it is my sincere pleasure to be able to introduce you to the Wilmore Capital team, Cody Smart and Greg Gottsacker. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Awesome. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you so much. And good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Greg Gottsacker. I'm one of the owners and founders of Wilmore Capital. And first off, I want to thank everybody for being here on this webinar on a Wednesday night, the Ultimate Homebuyers webinar. Thank you so much for being here. And second of all, just to congratulate you, right, on making this a priority in your life. I think that's really important. To congratulate you on showing up. I don't say that lightly. I don't say that because you're doing us a favor. You're doing yourself a favor, right? And that shows everybody in the room, me, Cody, Tanya, your colleagues, or who's ever in the chat, shows everybody together that you're serious. And that's important for us because we take our job very seriously. We love working and educating with people that are serious. We love working with people that are willing. We love working and educating people that respect the process. We don't do this just because it's fun. We love what we do. We love our process. It helps people. And the fact that you're here, it shows us that you respect what we do as well. So thank you and congratulations on all that. So I don't know where we are on certain levels. I'm going to open up the chat just to see a little bit like what's going on here. Can I get a 1 in the chat if you're a first-time home buyer? This is like the first time ever kind of delving into buying a home. All right, 1s, we're getting them in there. Now 2s, if maybe you bought a home in the past, but you need a refresher and you just need to, you need to come back to it First time. Any twos? Maybe bought one in the past. And then, all right, a lot of ones. So, okay. Is there anyone, I'm gonna ask for a 3 if maybe you're interested in buying an investment property. How does that work? Or maybe I could buy a property and live in it and house hack it. Any of those? 3, all right, a couple of those. Some interesting stuff on the 3s. So, but good. These are all great. Yeah, more 3s. Love it. These are all great. I'm gonna close my chat because it is distracting when I'm talking. But thanks, guys. 1 and 3s. This is amazing to know because all these things, either first-time home buyer or investment properties, that is, part of the American dream. And a lot of people throw that out there very loosely. What does that mean? It's the American dream. It's not that easy. I mean, if it was that easy, we'd all close our eyes and go to bed and own a home, right? The American dream. Does anyone know what the percentage of Americans that own a home is? 50, 70, throw out in the chat. Anyone have an idea of how many Americans percentage-wise own a home? 40? 40, no. 65. There you go. In America, it's 65. What about the percentage of home ownership in Dallas? Anyone want to throw that in there? Well, it's 41 in Dallas, it's 42 in Houston, 45 in Austin, and 52 in San Antonio. Interesting stats. But the point is the American dream of owning a home, it's out there. It's possible for everyone. There are government programs. There are tons of loan programs that help people do this. But the reality of home ownership is it does take work, right? It does take time. It takes being serious. It takes knowledge. We're here for that. It takes humility, and it takes money. But we'll go over all that in detail. But again, just a big congratulations for everyone that's here tonight. And again, for some of us, it might require more. Some of us have less or better credit. Some of us have more money or less money. I've been on both sides of it. I grew up in a real estate family, but I never took advantage of the power of owning a home until I was 38. So if you can get ahead of this now, you're going to be better off long term and hopefully pass on that generational wealth to your family. Now, so for first-time home buyers, I think there's like 3 main pain points. 1 is money, right? 2 is credit, and the 3rd one is probably one you'll never guess, but it's pretty simple. It's just taking action. Okay. So some of I don't make enough money. Well, save more or ask for help. You can get it. That's taking action. My credit's poor. I don't have good credit, Greg. What do I do? You can repair your credit. That's taking action. So no matter what it is, there's a solution, and we have them for you. But all we ask then from you tonight and going forward, if you want to get a new home, is 1, schedule a strategy. That's in the chat. You'll see the link tonight. Listen to what we have to offer and say. This is free until you get into a home. We're a lender. We'll never ask for money on a call here, right? So just schedule and listen, and then 3, commit to the action. If you do those 3, I guarantee if you really want it, in 12 months, you can be in a home. So follow the plan. What we're going to cover tonight. How are you feeling right now? The market is funny. We know that. We're going to talk about who we are and what we offer with our network. Can you buy a home? What are the conditions to get there? The steps of buying, mistakes to avoid. Do you want to take a certain path of home buying for your primary home, or you want to be an investor? And then some options of single family home or multifamily. Maybe you could buy a duplex and live in one side. And then how do you prepare? And then how do you build that long term, right? Home buying is an emotional process, and that's why you should really rely on professionals to help you through that process. A lender is one of them. That's why we're here tonight. It's a really important part of it, because if you don't have the right tools like education to get the loan, you're going to be struggling. You know, realtors are the other one to help you through some of the emotional stuff. But it's normal that you're going to feel concerned or excited or stressed, intimidated and anxious. But we'll go over all those and hopefully remove the uncertainty of it all, right? So just real quick, who we are as a company, we're a mortgage broker, right? So we're gonna find the best solution for your requirement, you know, for your loan. I don't have a bag of hundreds of millions of dollars here to give you, but we find the people that do, and then we write it accordingly so we can find it to help finance your purchase. We're based in Texas and a couple other states, Florida and Colorado. Who we're not a government program, right? We're not a builder. We don't do construction, and we don't do down payment assistance programs. And some of our programs do allow you to put less down, but we don't adhere to those specific programs. We mostly focus on first-time home buyers with the very traditional products of conventional FHA and VA, and then also investment lending, which is people that want to take it a step further and get into you know, Airbnb or fix and flips. But the end game is really to provide the solution that is catered to you and your situation. Our network, so we do have credit repair partners. We have a lot of realtors in our book, in our Rolodex. Title, insurance, and inspection, and builders are a part of the purchase process as well, which we all have access to. And then some really cool tools. We've been in the business for a long time, so if you ever need to do certain comparisons on your loans or just get second opinions, we have a large network. So here are the three heads of the founders of Wilmore Capital. Bianca is out of town this week on vacation, but Cody and I are here for you, and we're just delighted to be here. And we're going to get more into detail on how we can help you. But it really is our mission. Three of us were lenders for a long time at other companies, and we said we can do this better, and we branched out and founded Wilmore Capital. So we're going to hand it over and introduce you to another partner and founder here, Cody, who's been flipping through slide deck, but let's get into some details here.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Appreciate that. So yeah, just as a quick introduction to me, Cody Smart, been doing this a long time, and you know, raised in Texas. So went to Texas Tech University, even over in Lubbock. So anyway, so that's a quick introduction to me, and little bit about Wilmore. I'm glad Greg went over, and just wanted to make a quick point here that you want to follow the link in the chat to schedule your one-on-one strategy call. So kind of making sure you're in the right spot here, right? This webinar is for you if you're looking for clarity around the housing market. If you're paying too much in rent, right? This says $2,000, that's too much. You can get in a mortgage and not be giving somebody else's equity away. You're thinking about buying a home soon. That's probably the most of you there. You're tired of having a landlord, or you have a family and you're not in your dream home, trying to gain some financial knowledge, and you know, really just understand the home buying process. So of course, everything in the webinar is more or less high level, and we can get into the details when you schedule the one-on-one call. So some of the things that you should be asking yourself, right, when you're thinking about buying a home, and this goes for investment or with just buying a primary home. So you're looking at credit score. You really need a 580 or more to get into really programs. So FHA, things like this. Some other key amounts are 620 and 680. Those are kind of the steps of your credit. So kind of keep that in mind. Established trade lines. So when a lender is looking at your credit history, it's not all about the score, it's also about the condition of your trade lines. These include things like credit card payments, student loans, car payments, really anything that you have on credit. You really want your taxes up to date. So if you haven't done those, I suggest doing that in general, but also to buy a home. Have I worked in the last 2 years or have 2 years of experience? What we're looking for there as a lender is is just any sort of history. So even if you have a gap, 6 months or a year gap, we just need to prove 2 months total, even with a gap. So we'll just go back 3 years if we need to find 2 years of experience. If you filed bankruptcy or foreclosure in the last couple of years, it creates an obstacle. It's not something we can't help and get around, and you might as well prepare, even if that's the case, right? So have you been late on payments in the last 12 months? The important ones there are, being more than 90 days late. 30 days late is important also. You want to have as few of those as possible when you're getting ready to buy a home. Are you in repayment of your student loans? Of course, a lot going on with that right now. Everybody's in repayment at the moment, deferred, and that's about to end. But we have good creative ways to count those against you as little as possible, okay? And are you saving money or are you losing money month after month, right? You need to get to the point at least where you're stable. The last thing we'd want, of course, is try to get you in a home and not be able to afford it. So those are kind of the questions in general you want to know the answer to when you're jumping into this. So kind of the steps here that you want to do, and let's say you really get started with the pre-approval from a lender. So, a lot of people will go to a realtor first and then go back to a lender. Realtors hate that. You ought to go to a realtor and we can suggest one for you, and we'll talk about that some later, with a pre-approval in hand, and you'll get a good agent that is happy to work with you, knowing that you can afford the home. Lender will tell you your overall housing expenses and price, right? So we'll break down the monthly payment for you, and it'll have closing cost. It'll have everything broken down, and which is calculate the amount you need to spend on closing cost and down payment. So we'll talk about the different down payments that are needed, between 1% and 20%, right? Is the most common ones, and the lender, us, will work very closely with you throughout the process, along with the realtor. So, so then the next steps here: choose a realtor, strong real estate partnership to prevent miscommunication. So this is why we have a good realtor network of people we know and trust and have worked with in the past. You want to talk with them about what is it that you're actually looking for, right? Are the schools the most important? Stories? Is it price? Is it zip code? You just kind of really want to be upfront with them and tell them it all, because there's some powerful tools on the back end that they can really help you look for those. Your realtor then will send you the homes that meet your criteria, and of course it needs to be within your qualification amount. Kind of then the next steps through that is that all right, you've picked your 5 favorite. Now you go through walkthroughs. This says virtual tours. I don't suggest it, right? You want to see it in person. Buying without seeing the home first is more stressful. Then finally, your realtor writes the contract for you on the house and then helps you negotiate. So as a lender, we also help you and your realtor negotiate in ways that we can. One of the things that helps you buy a home actually is having a good, strong lender who will pick up the phone and call them and tell them how great of a buyer you are. So we love to do that. So that helps you win homes, along with having a great realtor. So that's kind of the steps that you take with the realtors: pre-approval, realtor, in that order. So then the realtor sends you the lender the purchase contract. And then we lock in the loan at that time. So whenever you say first get pre-approved, the loan is not locked. Meaning if we get you a 6.5 rate and the rates go up or down, it's not anything until you're getting close to contract and we have an address, and then we can lock in that rate, and then it won't change, right? The market could go terrible and your rate won't be affected by that. At that time, what you do is you order a home inspection. This is important to make sure you don't have, rats in the attic and all this type of stuff. I mean, so many different things can come up with the inspection. That is paid up front by the buyer, but they're usually fairly inexpensive, and it saves you a lot of headache rather than waiving the inspection. So you get a general condition, and it's very detailed. You can go really deep into those to see exactly where your home's at. During the process, when you're under contract, you choose a homeowner's insurance agent. So again, we have suggestions for that for you, if you want a suggestion. Otherwise, it's just Google away, right? But then what you want to do is go through with that agent the different products that you want protected and how much protection that you want. The lender will require a minimum amounts there, but then you can always go higher. And then the lender is able to order an appraisal. So I know at least with Wilmore, our appraisals are back pretty quick, about a week or so. And, those run about $500 and those are paid at the closing table rather than upfront like an inspection. So, and then kind of just something to think about as far as the appraisal is that's kind of the word that we need to go by. So, what you're hoping for is that the appraisal comes in at what you're offering or higher for that matter. It causes some issues if it comes in lower. We haven't seen a whole lot of that though. We don't usually have problems with that. Title company. This is an important part. Title company works with everybody in the transaction. They're contacted immediately when you go under contract, and they check to make sure that the person selling it is allowed to sell it. They are going through, the history of the home, things like this. So, but you can negotiate on title company. Usually a seller puts that in their listing of a title company they want, but if not, we can help you do that. Title insurance, of course, this is something that title will walk through with you, but is designed to ensure that there wasn't a mistake there and that it affects you and your deed. So they order a survey, of course, that's just a normal part of the purchase process, and the title company does that. And then the buyer and realtor will do a walkthrough the day before closing. And what that is just making sure the home still looks the way it did when you did your walkthrough. And so that is just kind of one last protection for you. And if it's not, then you have an issue and that you can walk through it, and that would be things that we're able to help you with. Again, that's not really that common either. Of course, the seller wants to sell the home also. Closing. Now you're really getting there, right? Now all the hard part's done, really, right? Lender Wilmore prepares the closing documents, and there's a closing disclosure that goes out. It's called a CD, and it has to go out to you with at least 3 days prior to closing. That's a protection for you. That's a rule that came out that says, a lender can't just throw at you numbers the morning of closing and it surprise you. So it's meant to not surprise you. I'll let you know with Wilmore, we get them out even sooner than that. We don't wait till the 3 days ahead of time. All agreed repairs. Sometimes you'll say, well, I want the gutters repaired before I complete the home purchase, and the seller agrees. So they're going to just have that done before closing. So that's part of what your final walkthrough is for. And this is a lot with your realtor. So you just tell your realtor that that's what you want after looking at inspection, and you just add an amendment to the contract. Buyer and seller will proceed to closing on the day of the contract. So a lot of times this can be remote, right? People close in Starbucks, for example, all the time, in their homes. Send a notary to you. Sometimes you close a title company, but it all happens on that same day. Lender funds the title company. So if you're curious about how this works, right, everybody's monies go to the title company, and then the title company themselves distributes out to the various parties that are owed. So, and that is when you get your keys, is when the lender funds the deal, which is almost always the same day as closing, unless you close in the evening. So that was a quick run through of the steps and how you work with a lender, a realtor, title company, and every part of the process. So I hope somebody learned some out of that process. Hopefully it gives you kind of a roadmap of where it is that you're starting. As a reminder, the first step is getting that pre-approval letter, getting in good with a lender, broker. I will pitch Wilmore as that part of the process one more time. And I do want to mention one more time to go ahead and schedule that call, right? It's free. We're happy to chat with you. Let's figure out your exact situation and see where you're at in that process. I'm going to hand it back over to Greg.
Yeah, so that's a great overview, everyone, of the roadmap, right? You won't be involved in every part of that, like directly, right? Like you're not going to be sitting with title while they're looking at all the documents, but you should know what's going on. Title does this, they balance things. But like if you want to ask questions about that, chuck them in there right now so we can cover them later. But you need to know that it goes from, you know, approval, realtor, inspection, appraisal, title, closing. That's just kind of the rhythm you need to understand, right? But we don't get there until you book, consult, and apply to get an approval, right? But we're going to go over like maybe really the heart of it right now is the misconceptions or the beliefs or the mistakes to avoid when you're buying a house. Because everyone talks like, you can't do that because I got evicted. You can't do this because whatever. So here are the top 5, and we'll get to some of these comments later. And if you have them, load us up because we'll have a lot of fun at the back end of this. Let's go over the 5 big ones about buying a house. Number 1, you need to have 20% down. Absolutely. Well, I don't have 20% down. Is that true, Cody, that I need 20% down to buy a house?
So that is not true, especially if you're buying for the primary home. We have programs that go as low as 1% down. So you do have to qualify for that. First time home buyers always get at least 3% down at the most is what you have to have. So do not be trying to save for 20%. Yeah, 1 to 3% is really what you should be planning on. And yeah, don't be just wasting time, you know, trying to save up for the 20. Get started now.
Yeah. I need to have like an 800 credit score or I'll never get approved. Is that true?
Yeah, no, that's not true. So many people are renting thinking that's true, and you know, and it's holding them back. If you have 580 or more, reach out to us. We can get you a loan.
580.
And
just on
even
that
if
note, should I wait till my score goes up?
no need. Actually, we have some credit partners. We can give you the roadmap. Greg specifically is very good at like a credit repair. So you know, we're happy to help coach that. And especially if you're at 570 right now, right, and you're going to be there soon, might as well get the process started now. So I would say really there's no reason to wait.
Well, I want to buy a house for $350,000, and my lender actually gave me an approval for $400,000. So I'm going to buy a little bit more house than I was expecting because the lender said I could afford it. Should I do that?
Sure. Well, you're allowed. I think that's a mistake. And so really what you should be looking at is not how much the lender approves you for. A lender will approve you for 50% of your income going towards your housing expense. So you don't necessarily need to extend yourself that far. What you have to do is decide beforehand, how much can I afford and do I want to afford towards the home, right? If you come in with that number, that is a lot better than just seeing what a lender approves you for and and buying at the max of that. You know, don't make
Want
those
to be
mistakes.
comfortable, right? Yeah, with your payment, sure. Well, I think I know everything after the webinar, and I'm gonna go do this on my own and go start shopping on Craigslist and just buy a house. Should I do it on my own, Cody?
Sure. Good luck. I think that's a mistake. I do think what you should do is, you know, there's a whole industry here, and they're there for a reason, right? Title companies are there for a reason. Realtors, lenders. So I would definitely say don't go trying to learn the entire industry on your own. Use the professionals that are there, and again, we're the ones happy to help.
So I also have my cousin from Lubbock who just got her real estate license. So I'm gonna use her because she's got her license.
Sure. Well, unfortunately, just like everything in life, there are people who are better and worse at their jobs, or say simply too inexperienced, or something like this. Better is to work with experienced people within kind of an ecosystem of trusted relationships. That is the way to go. If you find us on Google, you'll see we have terrific reviews from a lot of clients, and we have a big trusted network of realtors that we can introduce you to. So you will save yourself a lot of headache and money by working with people who are proven and experienced.
So we need to just ask some questions tonight, and I think we already have, you know, within the chat, you know, you're a home buyer and investor. At the end of the day, you know, buying a home, the process is going to be pretty similar as far as like you need certain down payment and it's going to go through title and appraisals. What's going to vary is the levels of that, right? And then your goals and all these questions that go with it and the timeline. But that is something that we can probably handle more on a one-on-one level. But think about what you really want to do here. And do you just want to get into your first home? Do you want to get into your investment home? Or do you want to get into a home that you live in that might be an investment property? There's a lot of elements that go into it. So there isn't one package for anybody here. But I think the most importantly is think about what you want out of your dwelling. Do you want to live in it and move on, or just buy it and rent it, you know? So those are all really big questions to ask yourself. Okay? This is a big one as well. Single family or multifamily. Now, the average homeowner is just moving into a single family residence. That's just the norm. The statistics indicate that. But there's also some opportunities if you wanted to get into the investment side of things and have some monthly income coming from the other side. So let's take, for example, a duplex, right? Can find a duplex, live in one side, rent out the other, and that other side, that rental income complements or subsidizes your monthly mortgage payment, right? So it softens the blow and you get a little bit of a taste of what it means to be a landlord and an investor. And it's something that I did recently, and a lot of people, that's how they start on the investment side, but they also do it at the same time as buying a primary. So it's a really easy way to get into landlording and managing people and rents. So you think about that as a question. Do you want this for your family, or are you on your own? You can try a little action on the side. How do I get ready? So this is, again, it goes back to the question of what you really want, right? 1% down, 3% down, that's for primary people, you know, first-time home buyers getting into their primary home. 20% down, we hear that number a lot. That's to remove mortgage insurance, or if you're investing, you need to put 20% down. So that is one big chunk of how you get ready, is how much do you have in hand? What are your assets to put something down, right? The next part of it is income. How much money do you make? Have you been working long enough? Or if you're doing investment, how much money will the house make, right? So if I'm renting that apartment next door and it's bringing me $1,100 a month, well, that's helping me out. I don't need to bring extra $1,100 on my income. I have it over here. So there's two ways to look at it there that can help you out. The third element, really big one, we have always discussed this, credit score, 580 plus. FHA is 580. If you want to get into the investment game, you're going to need probably 660. And then assets, every lender looks at what do you have in hand right now to close, to have a backup reserve. Sometimes they ask for assets of 6 months. That doesn't need to be in a checking account. It could be in an IRA or a money market, or a company fund. But that is a big part of it. So, just to synthesize a little bit this slide, I always say CIA, credit, income, and assets. Okay. But yeah, whether primary investment, we need to discuss. So success story. I mean, I can give mine. Guys, Cody kind of told you where he's from. I'm from Wisconsin. Maybe you recognize a little bit of a Midwest accent there. I left the country for many years and I moved to France to work, and I lived abroad, right? And there isn't a credit system overseas. And actually I never really had I rented for 15 years. And I finally moved back from Europe when I was 38, 4 years ago. Didn't have credit, didn't have a dollar to my name. I was virtually a ghost. So I had to rebuild all this stuff. You can't get a house, you can't buy something without credit, income, and assets. So I had to start over, and I started working in car refinance in Austin, met people like Cody, and I just kind of found the way, squirrel away some money. I bought a really old bad Honda that I still drive, and I was able to save up for one of these investment properties where I live in one side and rent out the other. You can do that with just 3% down, FHA. So that's a simple success story. I have a million more because I talk to realtors every day and we're doing this. It's very accessible. It's very easy. And you do that, then you move on to the next one. Is the rate the greatest? No, but you get into it and then you refinance later, right? This isn't, you always say, marry the house and date the rate, right? So if you're a little bit put off by the 7% right now, it'll come back in a year. You can figure it out. But those moves right there are so easy to do when you're working with the right people. And that duplex that I bought, a year and a half ago is going to sit around forever, and I can pass that to nieces, nephews, kids, whatever I want, right? So it's just a way to build equity and wealth long term in this country. Absolutely. So that's it, guys. We're kind of wrapping up all of the main slides of the process and what to do. I can't emphasize enough to book your strategy session in the chat. It's time to get in the game. There's a lot going on in the market right now. We know that, but we're the right people to help you through it. So get off, make some action right now, book the call, and then we'll open it up to the fun part of this right now, which is the Q&A. Okay. I think that's back to Tanya or what?
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad I'm back. If you would, Cody, would you just slide over to that last slide for me, sir? Thank you so much. That way I can keep track of where we're at. Oh my gosh, there are so many smart questions. I cannot wait to get to all of them. You got some really, really savvy people on tonight that have got phenomenal questions they want to get into. So let me hop over to the questions, get those pulled up. So if there's questions that are multiple folks, just know that I'm going to try to just cluster them together. So that way, we can get like the whole story. So before I go any further, I just want to remind everyone that if you want to have an opportunity to book the next part of your conversation with Cody and Greg, the only thing you have to do is click on the blue link that's in the chat box. It's going to take you over to a couple of questions, and then that'll give you direction of what to do next. So that's the way you book your next call. So Katrina says, I'm on the fence of purchasing a home. She is a Section 8 voucher holder. She was told that it's a lot of the same resources as being a first-time home buyer. What kind of insight can you give us for somebody that is looking at that next step?
Greg, you want to take that one or me?
Sure, I'll take the first one here. So I think I caught a section voucher, Section 8 voucher, something like that. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Sorry, guys, I'm not looking at every question here, but I'm listening to Tanya. But I gather the purpose of the question. There's a lot of great programs out there. We don't do the voucher program at Wilmore, but we have a 1% down program, for example, and that would be we look at the average median income in your zip code. If you're below that 80% number of the average median income in that zip code, we can qualify you for putting just 1% down. The other 2%, so actually you need 3% down total, but you put 1 and the lender puts 2, and there's no payback on that. They just give it to you and they put it in the loan. So don't be on the fence, like commit to looking at the programs because there's so many out there. The Section 8 one, yes, I'm a bit biased because I don't do the program. I'm guessing there are more conditions to qualify for Section 8 vouchers with the government program than there are just going conventional, saying, yes, I make less than this much money in the county, and we're going to give you a check, or we're going to complement the down payment. So, let's talk on the call and get into detail, right? I hope that answers it.
Excellent. And Katrina, if there's additional information, I'll go ahead and pull your email from the CRM. When it comes specifically to that, I'm sure that Greg and Cody are going to want to talk to you as far as if there's programs you could stack when it comes to that. So Kelly has a phenomenal question. What if you have an eviction within the last 3 months? Can you tell us, Greg or Cody, how that might affect the home buying process?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that is going to be, an obstacle immediately. What you ought to do if you're in that situation is kind of prepare now, and then you'll have to kind of revisit it at least at the 12-month mark. That's really where an eviction. Yeah, if it's that recent, it's just a little bit harder. But what you ought to do is, do your best to gather your finances in the right way. But to get any loan, even if you put more down or something like that, you're just going to have to wait about another 9 months. But don't let that stop you from preparing your finances.
Agreed. I think one thing you two have mentioned to me before is that, be actively preparing. I don't remember exactly the way you guys worded it, but, you could be waiting or you could be actively preparing, getting everything else ready, getting your savings or whatever you need to do. So I've always liked the way that you guys are like, yeah, you're waiting, but be busy about it. So Elder Wells has a great question. They've gone to see a home. They're ready to be a homeowner. They need to know everything that's required. So tell us again, what are the first couple of steps that, okay, so we're ready. What's the first couple of things we need to do?
Greg, you want to take that one?
Sure, I'll take that. Yeah. We'll just go back to the very basics that we've hammered out in the demonstration tonight. You need to know where you are, where your credit position is. Just have a rough idea. Have a dialogue with us. We can do a soft credit pull, which means that it doesn't ding you, right? You need to have do some simple math on, like, if you buy this house and the payment is this, do we qualify that with our income, right? So you need to, and that's like, it's a 5-minute call with any, so income and then assets. Do you have enough to get the 3% down or the 1% down, right? So just look at your bank account and liquid. Is it there? If it's not, can you find it somewhere? Gift funds are a big one we didn't talk about tonight. If you have a family member that can just give you $5,000 and because you're short that, we won't even look at it in underwriting. It's like, that's family, that's blood, get in here. So it's really bad. It comes down to those CIA, credit, income, and assets. Prepare for that, and prepare, your bank statements need to be organized, and you need your pay stubs ready. That's about it.
And I guess I'll just mention also, like, mechanically, you need to fill out an application. So whenever we talk with you, we'll send you an email link, like, just in case somebody's missing that part of it. Yeah, you got to fill out like an official application. Takes you 15 minutes, and it puts down that information that Greg just talked about, just on paper. So it can be seen. So that would be like step one. We'll ask you for those documents. You send in those documents, and you're moving. You can make an offer the next day if you're approved.
What an exciting part to reference. I love that part. So Ms. Mel wants to know, if you're purchasing a home in cash, are the steps similar of what you all talked about?
It's similar with the realtor and things. You just, if you're buying it with cash, you just don't need a lender, right? So you still need a realtor. You're still going to need the title company. You need all that, but nobody's going to ask you for your bank statements and your income documents, right? There's nobody in the process there that it matters to anymore necessarily, right? Sometimes a seller will ask you for maybe a bank statement to prove that you're able to buy this thing in cash before they sign it and get under contract with you. That's possible. But I will just mention, buying it in cash is great if you've got it. The people I know and that I've worked with, the people with a lot of money who are able to buy homes in cash, a lot of times they'll still get a mortgage, because now you're leveraging your money. Instead of spending all $300,000 that you have on a house, why don't you just put 10% down and use that other money elsewhere? you know, so that's just kind of one thing to think about, right? So.
I think that's great information too, especially being able to leverage if you are, if you have that much cash. I love that part. So I'm glad you mentioned it. Folks, don't miss your opportunity. There are limited spots. Again, I'm not a salesperson, but just I don't want you to get to the point where we're at the end of the Q&A and there's no spots left. So if you want, take a moment. You want to have your free call with either Cody or Greg or whichever one of them is available at the time. You might get to speak with Bianca. She's absolutely lovely. Click on the link that's going to take you to their questionnaire, and it's just a couple of questions, just like your name and your phone number. So Elder Wells said, I saw something on the news about needing to be aware of people being able to steal your information or hack your title. Is that something that you all are aware of?
Greg, I'll answer that one.
Go
Yeah.
ahead, Cody. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see if, but yeah, no. So we tell people where that usually happens is called wire fraud, right? And it's when you're wiring in your money kind of at closing, you're right before you sign, and yes, people are targeted and people do send money to the wrong person there, and it's sad, right? So the way that you avoid that during that process is whenever you get the wire instructions, you call me, the lender, and confirm it and make sure that it's the right title company and the same email. You call the title company directly and you read back their wiring instructions to them, and they'll confirm it. That way, you know that you're talking to the person that you think that you should be talking with, right? So that is the way to do that. And that's really where it happens. Otherwise, the information, things that you give to a lender, guys, it's a very regulated, industry. Your information is safe with lenders and realtors. So as long as you use a good, trusted one that's experienced. So.
Wow, Cody, that's great insight. That's something I did not even think about. So I'm so glad, Elder Wells, that you asked that. That's really great information. Also, they have a really tough question, but I love these. Is there a certain amount that you need to save for a house? All right, gentlemen, so give us a ballpark. If you had to give us an idea of you need this much in your retirement account, or you give us something. Tell us like where we need to start.
All right. I mean, let's just assume that you're buying we gotta assume a certain number here. Let's just say, $300,000 house. I don't know. Let's just say that you're putting 3% down. So that's $9,000 right there on the down payment, right? And then you have some closing costs, which are like title and the appraisal. Probably that's $3,000 or $4,000. And then you have to worry about putting an escrow account together, right? We didn't talk about that too much tonight, but you need to pay taxes and insurance, right? And that money, they usually just put it into an account, part of your payment, but they collect it up front, right? So I would say, like, on a house of that value, you probably want about $10,000 to $15,000 in closing costs, and those aren't costs. Some of them are just taxes and insurance, and then the down payment. So that price home, I would say, $15,000 to $25,000, depending on the down payment amount. Is that fair, Cody?
Yeah, that's totally fair. And there's strategies there's strategies for saying get the seller to pay the portion of the closing cost. So you can always negotiate that. So now, but a seller can't pay a portion of your down payment. So if we're saying an absolute minimum that you can do here is the $9,000 for that example.
The seller can't pay your taxes and your insurance, right? They can't do that, but they can cover title and they can cover the appraisal. So low end 15,000, everything's covered, but that should give you an idea of what you need to squirrel away. Yeah.
And then just to touch on, because Tanya, you said the thing like in the retirement accounts and stuff. So this money can come from anywhere.
Yes, where can it come from?
Yeah, come from anywhere, come from a gift, come from anybody in your family, right? As a gift. It can come from literally, I mean, it can come from anything. I've had people cash out Bitcoin, right? I mean, just if you have it, what you want to do is if you have it in a retirement account, you want to be ready to go ahead and kind of get the amount that you need out towards the beginning of when you're under contract. You don't have to do it when you apply. It's just when you get under contract, that's about the time to start moving that money into a place, an account from which you can write a check, right, is the way to think about it. So, but as far as like say extra past that, sometimes you'll need reserves. So especially if you're on the lower end of the credit score, or if your debt to income is kind of high, every once in a while, it'll be required to have say maybe 3 or 6 months in reserves. And those don't have to be liquid either. That can be in any investment or retirement account, anything like that. And you do not have to liquidate that portion of it. So we can always go through those with you as needed.
That's illuminating. I know that there was a bunch of people that I had a couple of private messages and a few people that had asked about that. So tell us about VA and like USDA. Those are advertised as 0% down. Can you give us like who all can qualify for that? How do we know if, okay, that's something that we could qualify for a USDA loan or we could qualify for a VA loan?
Well, I can speak to VA for sure, because my girlfriend's a veteran. So you need to be a service member or have served or a family member of one and qualifying for it. But on a VA, yeah, you can do 100% financing. So that means 0% down, and you're getting into a home with closing costs like you're paying for an appraisal basically. It's pretty sweet. USDA, I'll be honest, I mean, Cody, if you want to pipe in on there, I don't know a ton about USDA. We haven't done many, but I'll just show my cards there.
Sure. Yeah, no, we're big enough to say we focus on certain things and not on others.
Right.
And USDA is one of the things we don't focus on. So I can always refer you if that's the loan that you need. The main thing about USDA is it's an acreage requirement. So if you're buying in the city, it doesn't apply to you, right? If you're buying in the country somewhere with a lot of acreage, that's where that comes into play. And if we get on the phone with you and you ask about that, I'll give you a solid referral.
That's fantastic. So VA, if we have any veterans that are on the webinar, first of all, thank you for your service. But also that could be something that if you are a veteran or you're active military or you're a surviving spouse, that would be a great opportunity for you to be able to utilize those benefits. And Cody and Greg, you would be able to compare and contrast that based upon like what their goals are though, right? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fabulous.
I mean, almost always, if you qualify for the VA, that's going to be the loan that you're going to want. But no, we have some really good tools to where we're able to compare and highlight differences between different loan products, different ways of structuring your loan. So there's always, if you're trying to, you want to decide, right? Am I more rate sensitive or fee sensitive? If you're okay paying a little bit more up front, you can always buy the
Ooh.
rate down. Those are like ways to structure your loan. That's what we mean when we say that. And yeah, we're happy to compare as many of those as you want and break them down with you. So yeah, absolutely. We look at different loan programs.
Oh, that's excellent. I like the fact that you guys can really help guide and decide what works best based upon their needs. So folks, don't forget, we've got about 10 minutes left of questions. I've got some really great questions. I'm going to get to them. Nicole, you are next on my list. You and iPhone too. But just know if you want to book your one-on-one to have the rest of this conversation, go ahead and click on the blue link in the chat. Don't miss your opportunity. So iPhone 2 and Nicole have really similar questions. So I'm going to lump those two together. Talk to us about the 3 credit scores. iPhone wants to know, do all 3 credit scores have to be the same? And what about FICO and how does that fit in? But Nicole also had another really specific question about it. Should all 3 credit bureaus show FICO of 580? And if not, which one? Okay, so clear us up about the credit bureaus. I think we all need to know that.
All right. I'll take it because I spent a lot of time on this and even I continually work on my own. All right. So credit is an enigma for sure. Each bureau has different weightings, I would say, like on how they measure your credit and your depth and everything. So we will do if we do a hard pull, we do a tri-merge report. We're going to get Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. We're going to get 3 numbers, right? Let's say it's 590, 600, 603, right? Well, we have to take the median number and go off of that, right? We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. We take the middle one. So you'll never get 3 580s. You'll never get 3 620s. Each bureau is like, oh, well, she had that credit card for 18 months. We'll give her 10 points. They weight it differently. So we'll take the tri-merge report, take the middle one, the median score, and give you that, right? Now we can do soft pulls as well, where we just say, let's just pull one report on TransUnion, and we'll just like start the process like that. But you know, the whole point is like you have 3 people looking at it in 3 different lenses, and those people are the bureaus, right? I can't control that. So I hope that answers the question. I don't know. It's a tricky business, credit, but if you manage it the right way, it should all have very little variance, right? It should be pretty close. Oh, you guys
Sounds fantastic. Yes, I've got another question. Nicole had a follow-up. Her specific concern was, do all 3 of them, what if something's under 580? But others are higher than. So if one of the 3 is under, should she still book an appointment for that next step with you all?
Yeah, that's fine. Again, we go off of a median score. So if one of the 3 is above 580, we're definitely looking at a path to getting somewhere, right?
Excellent. That's great information. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. I don't want to miss a question. I know I had another good one here. Okay, are new builders offering incentives in today's market, or should they really, do they want to use the builder's lender, or should they talk to you all first?
I think it's really important to at least compare, right? Yeah, if you're buying a new build, I mean, they almost always want to put to you a loan. But we have found that our programs for new builds a lot of times are better than the builder's lender. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, for example, is that we have a one-time close on new construction. So you're buying a plot of land, you close one time, so you get to lock in the interest rates as of now, rather than say either a 2 closing process or all of the kind of complications that happen with builders lenders. Now, saying that, we might not be able to beat them every time, but we'll just tell you clearly if you're getting a great deal, and if you're not, we'll give you the great deal, right? So that's kind of the way to think about it. You definitely should still give us a call. Let us see if we can compete with it, and you never know, you might save a lot of money that way.
Excellent. Okay, so what if I own my own business? Valerie wants to know, and so does Nicole. So they own their own business. Can they still purchase a home?
Yeah, absolutely. We work with self-employed folks all the time. And so kind of a general rule with self-employed is you're going to have to be prepared to show your taxes, because that's the only way we can show your income, since you don't have, say, a W-2. But yes, if you own your own business, have your taxes prepared and ready for the last 2 years. And we can always go into the details of what we're looking at, mainly that you're cash flowing, that the business is doing enough for the same reasons we look at W-2s and pay stubs, is to make sure that you're able to afford the home, right? So with that general framework, but yes, no, absolutely. Usually you have to be self-employed for 2 years. So if you quit your job, say last year, and started your own business, that causes slight issues, but we can even do it as down to 1 year of being self-employed. If it's less than that, it's kind of one of those situations, again, you want to wait to the 12-month mark before you're moving into a new home. Shouldn't wait to start the process, but just know that's the full timeline there.
Thank you. That's great clarity, because that's not something that I've heard before. I like that. That's a good solid timeline to kind of have in your head. Okay, Natasha, I love your question. My credit's about 580. Should I work on it for at least a year, making payments on time and such? Making purchase on credit cards. I have 3, but it's hard to pay those on time. So should she work on her credit or should she move forward?
I'll answer that again on credit. Your credit is good enough that you can move forward now. The cost benefit of waiting to get your credit up in the next 6 months to what the market's doing and the home prices is not in your advantage to wait, right? You can work on it for 6 months and your score will go to 620. That won't change your rate by that much to benefit your payment, right? So score is one thing, payments the other, right? You should really be focused on what can you afford each month. And if the 580 gets you 2,400 a month and the 620 gets you 2,450, you waited 6 months for a market that might react and go up in price or down in price. The volatility is not worth waiting. You should start the process, like Tommy said, passively be active, right? Like always be ready to go, but like you're already in the steps. You're already in the range to start, right? There's don't wait, but always work on the credit, right?
And we have a credit partner.
I love that.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
that we can
the
refer
thing
you to.
is like, you know, getting your credit pulled, even on a soft pull, will really give us clarity on where you really are. Because you think you're here, you might not be. You might be a 620. I mean, unless it got pulled, I don't know. But you know, starting the process will let professionals say you're here, we can get you here, or you're good to go. You know, don't wait. It's not a market to wait in.
Oh my gosh, Natasha is paying $2,000 a month for rent right now. Definitely reach out to Wilmore Capital. Reach out to Cody and Greg. Go ahead, click on the link. If you're unable to book an appointment, you'll see an email. Send them an email, and then tell them a little bit more about your situation, because that would be phenomenal. Okay, so gentlemen, we are almost at the end of time. We have 6 spots left. Oh, great, Natasha. She sent her info to you all. We have 6 spots left, everyone. So again, I'm not trying to be pushy, but if you would like to continue your conversation with Cody and Greg, click on the link and book your one-on-one or send them an email. If they need more information to pull resources to prepare for your call, it'll send you to send them an email. So just do that. Tell them what you need to tell them, and then they'll reach out to you, or they'll have one of their team members reach out to you. So I have some of those savvy people in the beginning that talked about wanting information about being investors. So Greg, Cody, whichever one you want to take it, talk to me about what kind of credit and reserves, what do we need to know about investing?
Sure, Greg, I'll just take that one.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So we've been talking about down payments. For a primary, you're looking at 1 to 3% down. For an investment, you're looking at 15 bare minimum or 20% down, right? If you're let's use an example of, say, buying a rental property. So that's kind of the way to think about that. So 15 to 20% down. You are going to need more reserves, usually a minimum of 6 months. And again, that does not have to be liquid. And as far as income, say you're buying a rental property, this is the interesting part. You can be unemployed and buy a rental property. They do not look at your income documentation. So what they use, let's dig into it just a minute, the DSCR, debt service coverage ratio. What that is if the rent will pay back the mortgage payment that for the mortgage that you're being given, you will be able to get that loan. Of course, the hard part is finding those properties, right? That's why you need a good realtor that focuses on investment. We have resources to help you find those investment properties if you get connected with those. But those are, so it just goes up, it gets more expensive. They're not handing away investment properties. So yeah, you just gotta have a little bit more down, but the income that you're focusing on there is the rental income, not your personal income. So I'm happy to show you loan programs, buy Airbnbs. Of course, the other ways of investing are buying. If you're trying to flip, and that takes some experience and it's very risky, right? We work with flippers though, right? So I'm doing a bridge loan for somebody right now. So we're happy to talk with you about that. I just don't think that's necessarily the main focus here. But yeah, rental properties, it's within range of anybody. It's just got to have a little bit more saved up.
Wonderful. Folks, we are down to 4 spots. Again, if you want to book your call, click on that. You can have the rest of your conversation with Greg and Cody. So I have 2 questions left. Is that all right if we go get
Yeah,
these last 2?
yeah.
Okay. If you are self-employed and you owe taxes, can you still buy a home?
I'll take that. We need action on your taxes. If you're not paid in taxes, sorry. This is going to be a quick answer on that one. Yeah.
I think the one way around it is if you have a specified payment plan written out by the IRS. If you're on a payment
That's
plan,
what I mean. Like we need action. Like payment plans there, you made one payment, right? But if you're not paid, you're just not going to get an approval. So we need action.
Understood. And last question that's come in. What is the advantage of working with a mortgage broker?
Greg, you want me to take this one?
I have an answer as well, but yeah, we can both answer.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's both give our answer. I'll say mine first because it'll be quick. So the good thing about a broker rather than calling a lender is whenever we connect, I would love to send you a whole lot of statistics over why brokers are better. So anybody on this call, you can call Wells Fargo, which is like a direct lender, right? What you're going to get is a less good rate. You're not going to get a personable person. Everybody who makes a call with this is going to have my direct phone number and I will answer it, right? You're not going through those third parties. And the point of the broker is that we don't only have one avenue and one set of loan programs. The broker finds the best loan for your specific situation. So we have processes in the back end to where if you just make a phone call to a direct lender, you just got what they have to offer and there's no wiggle room or ability to find a better loan. So that's my pitch on it. I'm sure Greg has something else.
Mine is similar. Is just like the absolute flexibility, personability, the access you have to someone that's shopping for you, right? I was at Chase this morning, my local retail bank. We've done more loans than Chase down the street this year because they only have one rate sheet. They only have this product. We can go and say, I have 15 lenders because we're the broker, not the lender. I have 15 people I can call and saying, I know that iPhone 2 or whoever, Natasha needs this. I can find you a loan. My odds of getting you a product are way better than the retail lender that only has one, right? So try a broker. They're better, faster, cheaper. Trust us.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so just one more question. I promise this is the last one. I had somebody send it to me private. So they are a first-time home buyer. They want to buy an investment property, but they're willing to live in it. How much would they have to put down? They're not VA, they're not anything like that. So it would just be.
This is the best question, really. So one, VA, you can't buy an investment property with VA. That's for primary residence only. So let's just get it out of the way. With an FHA loan, you can buy up to 4-unit property with 3% down, 3.5% down. So that is like the most beautiful investment primary vehicle out there, is saying, oh, there's a 4-plex, so there's a 2-plex, and you can just put 3.5% down and get into the house. Then you rent the other side. I alluded to it in earlier, right? You rent the other side, rent the other 3 units. Those rents are covering your mortgage. You're living rent free, right? Now, in a conventional loan, you need to put 20% down as an investment property. FHA is the way. 3% down, you're in a multifamily. It's beautiful.
That's amazing. Folks, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you all so much for being here. everyone. Please take a couple of minutes and drop some love. There's still 33 of us here in the Zoom. Drop some
Thank you.
love
Thank
for the
everybody.
Wilmore team.
Mhm.
They did a phenomenal job. So gentlemen, I'm going to be quiet and let you all say your good evenings.
I'll be quick. Thank you everybody for being here. I hope to speak with you on our one-on-ones. Let's get you in a house.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. And again, congratulations for being here. So many chats, you know, we're focused on a lot here, but let's meet one-on-one, book the meeting, book the strategy call. Love to have a chat with you and help you get into a home this year. Talk to you soon.
Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so excited. Gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and close out. And if you'd like, we can hop right back here.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. See you, gentlemen, in a bit. Everyone, have a great evening. Thank you all so much for being here.